Good evening, and welcome to Going for Two. This is the only YouTube podcast in human recorded history to feature a male and female host drinking our way through the important topics of the day, as long as they touch the football world and not in that way. Hi, Sharona, what's happening?
Hi, Zachy.
You seem to be in a very holiday spirit over there. You got
just the most wonderful time of the year.
Especially when it's freaking warm everywhere, right? Isn't it warm in your secret lair where you live?
It's fairly chill.
Let's start with the beverages of the evening.
We should hashtag Going for Two and chill.
Can we guess what Sharona's drinking tonight? Everybody, you get 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count.
The officially sponsored beer, well, we wish, of Going for Two, Sharona Stormborn and her Dragon's Milk. Khaleesi!
It's funny you say that. Of course, I got a little smutty nose winter ale going on. And we'll transition to a Red Brick, local brewery, Vanilla Gorilla, Vanilla Porter. And of course, we like to drink our beer out of the Goblet of Champions.
Mine! We should have a contest to see if I can win it.
Since I'm not going to be the champion of my local keeper league anymore, since I was defeated by my dad.
Were you? Your dad did not take one for the team?
I think he offered to, because he was asking me if he should start Duke Johnson over Frank Gore. And I was like, well, you got to start Frank Gore. He's better. And funny thing is, the one ranking service I look at had Gore ranked 1 higher, but Gore scored 18. I went into Monday night trailing by 8, and I had Des Bryant, and the Cowboys forgot Des Bryant was on the team until about 4 minutes to go. It was so sad because I was waiting the entire day for the miracle to happen. And of course, since my dad had the kicker for Washington, he kicked like 3 field goals and he even missed 1. And it was at the very end of the game where it was like, I have to get Des Bryant to basically score like a 60-yard touchdown, and that's the only way I can win. And people on Twitter were like, he's going to score a 50-yard touchdown. I'm like, well, if Matt Castle could actually throw it 20 yards, he might.
Or if he would throw it.
I mean, I think there was one play where he did target him on a slant, but of course the defensive lineman saw it and jumped up and knocked it down. But that was a kind of a fun Monday night game if you just watched like the last 5 minutes, because the rest was pretty terrible.
I watched it on Twitter. I'm wearing earrings. I am wearing my club going shake your ass red earrings.
So
see, I got all gussied up. So you guys don't know, we're supposed to do this show on Wednesday nights, and to be quite fair, I was being a little high maintenance last night. It was totally not my fault. But anyway, I digress. And so but I showered, I fixed my hair,
I showered on a weeknight.
My legs, and Zach canceled on me.
I wanted to save it for Thursday.
He couldn't stay up until late.
9 o'clock, I know. It was tough.
Yeah.
So is it time for our weekly touchdown celebration?
Yes, I want to see it.
Actually,
go Zach! Go Zach! Go Zach!
This is inspired. Well, maybe I won't say what it's inspired by. Maybe you can guess. So let's see how this goes. So I'm going to move my chair. I'm going to take off my ear things. Going to.
Oh God!
Let's see.
And he's got the perfect T-shirt for it. Hello? Uh-oh.
Wait.
Is that a combination between the Travis Kelce and the Kaepernick?
Oh, wait. That thing is hot. And I really need to set myself up in a position where you can actually see me, because I was trying to do, I see Kitty.
Oh, yeah.
Visitor. I was trying to do that.
This
That
is
guy.
Bandit. Hi, Bandit. Hi, everybody.
The guy who did
You are
that.
Bandit, aren't you?
Bandit could definitely make Mariota fumble the football. Definitely.
We had an incident
Uh-oh.
the other night. Smokey got out again. Well, he got out once, and I think I've talked about this. Smokey, not a big fan of being crated or the bass, but he hasn't had one lately. So, but he's still a little iffy around the puppy dog, my dog, and his sister. And so we don't see a lot of the smokester. So he got it one night this week. He got out once, which wouldn't have been a big deal because it's happened before and it was all fine. Except that when he got out, his brother Bandit that you just saw made the most pitiful meow noise watching his brother shoot out the door. And I was like, oh my gosh, don't worry, I'll go get him. I'll get him. I'll get him. It's okay. And so I go out and I sit outside and he comes to me and we snuggle and he comes back in. Well, he ran out again, and this time he wasn't coming back. He was gone. He was out of here. And, you know, Bandit was a little sad at first. Then after a while, he was okay. He came up to me, and it was clear. He was like, it's all right, Mom. You got me, you know. And so I get in bed, and I'm all settled in and everything. And he starts making that little sad noise again. I'm like, oh, my God. I will go check. And so I get up out of my comfy bed. I was almost asleep. And I go and I look outside and there he is. And I open the door and he comes in and it's been peachy keen jelly bean ever since. I know y'all wanted to hear that.
We would probably have some kind of heart attack if either of our cats got out because I don't think they're meant for the outdoors. Indoor kitties all the time.
I'm pretty sure these aren't either anymore, but
well,
and I think that Smokey has come to that realization now because it was cold out there. And it was a you know, anyway. Now, do you have your kittens? Are yours declawed?
oh no, they're very clawed.
Do you believe in that?
I show all these cute pictures of the cats, but to the cute pictures of like my torn up hands because they're not shy with the claw. Like our last cats would kind of hit you with their paw, but they wouldn't extend the claws. These guys, they'll draw blood.
Yeah, mine.
I don't know. It sounds cruel to remove the claws. I've heard of people who've done it, but once we've, it's like, well, we got them now. They're going to stick the way they are and rule the house and play chase the paper ball and all the good cat stuff and pretty much sleep. That's pretty much what they do. So we ready for some exciting hashtag hot takes on tonight's sports stories?
You ever did tell me whether you liked my suggestion for your segment. Now, I do like the weekly dance move. Don't get me wrong.
Well, that's a short one, and I should have. Well, I'd say I limbered up. I actually did Pilates earlier, so I should be freaking limber. My back.
So
yeah,
was I right?
I think.
Was that a combination between the Travis Kelce and the Colin Kaepernick?
Well, it was that video that went viral, that guy who basically was dancing in different places in the world. I was doing that.
Oh.
And I kind of did the kiss the bicep part at the end. I think I was going to throw in YMCA, but I was.
Oh, that would have been. I thought you were going to.
I was awkward. It's just awkward being in this space because I'm still kind of stuck in a box. So, yeah, we'll work on it, and need some time and effort, Rome wasn't built a day, and bad white boy dancing clearly needs more seasoning before it's complete. But we'll see what we can do.
Well, White Girl Wasted needs more work too.
White Girl.
I'm not sure we're going to get there tonight. Although, please note, I did immediately go for the Dragon's Milk, even though I do have my new beer is
coffee porter.
It's a coffee porter. It's called Thunderstruck. It's quite tasty.
I've had their Gaelic Ale. I've heard their regular winter beer is good too. I'm not a big coffee fan, so any coffee and beer are just meh to me. But hey, that's me. You don't have to like the beer I like, but I like the beer I like a lot.
You're not a coffee aficionado.
Clearly not. And I've had, well, I can't say I've had a lot of coffee, but I've had coffee with people who really get into it.
Coffee's awesome.
It's, I don't know, it's like most beer, the beers people like the most are like IPAs, and they're too bitter. And I have a new kind of comparison for it. There was a beer that I tried this weekend. It was called Toaster Pastry, so it's supposed to taste like a Pop-Tart. It was bitter, just hit you in the face bitter to begin, and it had a little bit of that strawberry jam flavor at the back end, but it was almost like when you drink a glass of orange juice right after you brush your teeth. It was like that kind of bitter, which isn't fun at all, and that just turns me off of anything else. So
Okay.
that's my drinking issue with the IPAs. But hey,
Gotcha.
you got to live, you learn, and I'll try anything once when it comes to the beers. But we should start. So Will Muschamp, hired by South Carolina, an interesting hire, a guy who basically was shamed out of Florida, and I totally forgot that he's following, well, sort of the same career path as Steve Spurrier, Florida coach. Of course, Steve Spurrier actually traded up. He traded down. And then after 1 year as a 6-6 defensive coordinator, South Carolina just had to get him. But when he had his initial press conference,
get their man.
His line was, "Gamecock Nation, if you don't think I can recruit, look at my wife and look at me." What do you think about that, Sharona?
It's as disgusting as James Franklin saying he never hires an assistant coach until he checks out their wife. You know, listen, Neanderthal attitudes abound in the sports world, in the whole totality of society, but you definitely see a marked uptick in the sports world, and largely because it's been tolerated in the past, and that's basically what I think.
Yeah, a lot of people have there's the sports world and there's a real world, and keep the real world out of sports, but I'd say unfortunately, I think it's actually fortunate the real world has dovetailed into sports and made people actually deal with issues that they don't want to deal with in real life. So yeah, having the wife as the accessory is, I mean, come on. I mean, there's certain things you have to deal with when, I mean, once your husband gets to like the college head coach level, then that you're at least in a high level of society. But being a coach's wife, trying to have a career when you're moving around all the time, and being just seen as how you look and what you wear and that kind of stuff, that's just, but I'm kind of like, thanks South Carolina for signing that guy. We'll see. Maybe in his second time he'll do well.
I thought they would have been, and I have not. I've talked to several Gamecock fans, and I haven't met one who disagrees with me. I still think they would have been better off just pulling the interim tag from Sean Elliott and letting the guy show what he can do. But
well, after rumors, and there wasn't even that much craziness, and Missouri went ahead and hired their alum defensive coordinator and Barry Odom, and I feel like that's a good move.
I liked it. I thought it was a good move too. I did.
I mean, you need continuity, and I don't know how excited people were when they hired the head coach from Toledo 15 years ago. So we'll see how it goes. Now,
so what are your expectations for Missouri next year?
Well, they did hire Josh Heupel. He was the former Oklahoma coach or quarterback he actually was a co-coordinator at Oklahoma, got kind of demoted, was at Utah State last year, and Odom hired him, and I don't know, it doesn't seem like I was kind of hoping they would kind of uptick the offense because the offense was so bad last year. I mean, they were supposed to have a great line. The line was terrible. They're losing their top running back, and the receivers I don't know, and their quarterback I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. Missouri in 2 years has gone from look at us SEC East champions to can we win like 2 conference games and get to a bowl game named after an auto parts store?
Welcome to the SEC, baby.
Yeah, exactly. The best part of bowl season is that my wife's graduate school alma mater, Georgia State, qualified for a bowl. Georgia State went 6-6, which automatically guarantees you a bowl spot now. So they're going to the Care Bowl, which is, I think, AutoZone or something. And they're playing San Jose State. But hey, woo, you know. I actually want to get
San Jose State's a respectable school.
I mean, Georgia State's really a commuter school, but I guess, hey, they've really turned it up because they look like they didn't belong. I think they lost to Charlotte to start the year, and I swear Charlotte's a 1AA school. But hey, they won 6, got into a bowl. I kind of like seeing the new teams in bowls, like, you know, Appalachian State and Georgia Southern moved up, and now they're in a bowl game. So it's cool to see that. Although, will I watch these games? Probably not. I don't know how you feel about the, you know, 40, 41 bowl games and whether, you know, they're must-see TV. Yeah, you gotta do that, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Gonna be like that.
I've taught myself blue about. I'm trying to be uplifting and perky and all bright and shiny tonight. Y'all know how I feel about those participation bowls.
Yeah, but your school isn't going to one. Your school's going to, is it the Outback?
We're going to the Outback Bowl.
Differentiating. Is that the one that used to be the Citrus, or no? The Citrus is like Buffalo Wild Wings or something because of the sponsor names. You play Northwestern.
They in the playoffs. When they in the playoffs, I'll care about the postseason.
Well,
listen, even when we were making bowls like 10 years ago, we were sucking ass in them. So, you know, I'll never forget, I had an offer to go. I think the Citrus Bowl was in Atlanta, right? Was it anyway?
Peach Bowl's here. Citrus is in Orlando.
That's right. That's Orlando. Yes, I'm sorry, confused. The Peach Bowl. I think they went to the Peach Bowl like 2 or 3 years in a row. The first year, I think it was the first year, I had an offer to go to the bowl game and sit in a nice luxury suite and hobnob. As it turned out, I legitimately had the flu, and I think that was actually the year of the Music City Miracle, if I'm not mistaken, because I had the flu that year. So anyway, so I did not go, and Maryland whooped their hind parts up one side and down the other. It was bad.
Well, I mean, I remember Missouri in the Liberty Bowl when they were like 6-5, and they were playing South Carolina, and I was like, Steve Spurrier versus Gary Pinkel. Talk about the greatest coaching disparity in coaching history. So it was like 21-0 South Carolina. So my friend and I were watching it. We're like, let's play Sega or whatever, you know, video game football instead. So we turned the game back on after we had finished, and Missouri had come back to win. And I was like, oh, I missed that. That's unfortunate. I mean, there are games that are really good, and they're like these back and forth affairs, but it's still like what's at stake, you know? It doesn't. Yeah. I don't know if it adds a lot to legacies. I mean, it had been like a long streak where like the Heisman winning players team kept losing their bowl game. It just happened. So, I mean, it's something to do, and it's sad that there's this conversation about, you know, expanding the playoffs. Like, we can't do that. That's the integrity of the game. Like, didn't we have the same exact conversation about going from 2 to 4 like 3 years ago?
It's ridiculous.
Do we not remember what we actually say?
The integrity of the game argument. Well, I mean, there's something you have to be careful about cheating and the big things, but oh God, you know, when schools athletes under the table, and I mean, come on.
I mean, they're talking about, you know, the fact that there's a, you know, the championship game's like on the 11th. Well, they kept moving stuff forward. Like, it used to be no matter what, January 1 was it. And then they would move maybe one game to the 2nd. But then the national championship game, that was good, moved up to like the 5th or the 7th. And I mean, we're going to have the Super Bowl on Valentine's Day one of these years because they keep pushing that back too. So I don't know. It's sports.
Bite your tongue.
So we have Twitter outrage is a fun thing. And a couple days ago, it's kind of past now, but it was fun while it lasted. Danny Cannell, who, hey, if you're an ex-quarterback, you play 5 seconds in the NFL, you have a career as an announcer or a sports personality. He's on ESPN now, and he tweeted, "The war on football is real. Not sure source, surprising, but concussion alarmists are loving it. Liberal media loves it. Doesn't matter. It's real." Why do people feel the need to say war on anything? Only people who say that have never been within light years of war.
I was guilty of it back when, and still sort of am, when the hashtag war on women was kind of a thing because of all the attacks on Planned Parenthood, and when, and I understand it is, but honestly, Zach, when you look at people involved with abortion clinics and just being gunned down, it kind of is a war.
See, there you go, making a legitimate point. Dang it.
Sorry.
I don't know. It's like,
let me drink some more.
War always comes off as like supposedly a temporary thing, even though it appears to be permanent for us now. But yeah, the situation with women seems to be just systemic and permanent, and going to take a lot of effort to change the way things are and the way people feel. Yeah, we'll get into more of those fun stories as we go. Yeah, it's really uplifting. You're right. You're like, I want to be all cheery and positive and have all these stories of.
Give her the hook.
But it was Dave Zirin and others who just like basically just everybody just went after him for like 2 days.
Well, that
probably
was
upped his profile.
Yeah.
But the whole concussion
It worked for Clay Travis.
Yeah, I actually saw Clay Travis and David Zirin actually like together on a Fox Sports thing. I was like, what? Those two should. I want to see those two talk about the Missouri situation. I want them to go toe to toe. But I don't know. They were just talking about normal football kind of stuff. Nothing too dramatic. But yeah, so there's a moment, and then there's a big tweet, and then everybody goes for that was kind of a softball pitch across the middle, easy one for people to hit. I love the term liberal media too. Like, there's just a liberal media. That's all there is. Okay.
Well, like the liberals are even in charge of the media these days, because they're totally not. I mean, it's always been kind of an oxymoron in a way.
Yeah, it's this whole like Fox News says these things, but so does CNN and MSNBC, and they're all exactly the same.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, I think the actual effort to make lies into reality kind of started on the Fox side, but it happens. Obviously, sensational stuff gets attention. That's kind of what the weird internet culture. You just want to be relevant for 48 hours, and that's all that matters. That people will read your headline and not your article. But yeah, that came and went, and that was over. And hey, look, I have another one. Bill Belichick and the female ref. Now, I didn't see anything on this till like Tuesday, so set this one up for us. What happened there?
Well, let me just say that some dude got his underoos in a wad today, because I was even talking about this on Twitter.
Are those the Batman underoos or the Robin ones? I used to have the Robin ones.
Dude, sorry. I said, you seem awfully concerned about my Twitter feed. I'm concerned about people talking about Bill Belichick. Well, now I'm really concerned. Get away from me. Anyway, so Sunday, it was Sunday, in the game between the Patriots and I forget who they were playing. But Sarah Thomas.
The Eagles game? Was that this
week?
The
Eagles game, that's right. Because
they lost.
They lost. Yes, it was glorious. So Sarah Thomas was on the officiating crew, and Sarah Thomas is a line judge, which means ordinarily she's not in the thick of things, because line judges they're not out there going touchdown and all that bullshit, right? Okay, so apparently she was involved in a call that he disagreed with involving one of his linemen or something. I'm not exactly sure how it all came about, but there was a picture that circulated around on social media that purported to show Bill Belichick with his arms on top of her shoulders, and her looking up at him like, really, dude? It was beautiful. I mean, let's just say it was a shot meant for Twitter outrage, okay? Well, the video makes it look a whole lot less innocuous. But the conversation about the event is what really has been fascinating to me. And so that kind of became a thing. And with people writing and talking about it and stuff, and including one Yahoo Sports writer who says she needed to give him a hug, which infuriated me and kind of set me off. I would have been like, Anyway, did I answer the question?
Well, I mean, I saw the video and I thought that he like grabbed her or something. I mean, he did like kind of do his arms like right. I mean, if he didn't hit her shoulders, he got damn close.
There's no question he was in her space.
Like he was trying to
intimidate,
trying to make his point very vociferously. He was I'm sure most coaches do that. They're like, "Oh, look, new ref. Let me, try to influence." I don't know. It's hard to tell what kind of mind games Bill Belichick plays, but man, it was nice to see them lose 2 in a row because the afternoon games, usually on Sunday, it's like the early games come and go and you're wiped out, and the late games, you're watching all these punts. But the late games are really, really solid, especially when the Panthers forgot how to play defense. And then the Patriots gave up every fluke touchdown that they had never given up in the past 15 years and
you guys
lost to a really bad Eagles team.
Zach was so cute. He was so excited about the Titans' home win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tighten up, baby.
It don't say tighten down. It says tighten up. So in your face. Yeah, a strange moment was, the Music City Miracles blog. They shared the Marcus Mariota was mic'd up for the Jaguars game, and it was like a 4-minute clip. And I swear the first 2 minutes, he didn't say anything. They didn't. I mean, I'm sure they had him for 4 hours, and they found 30 seconds of him actually talking because he's such a quiet guy. And I know it's all edited and all that, but it was just he wouldn't say anything for a while. And then he would just say, yes, sir. And he would say, thank you, over and over again. And
he's cute.
And then he would start kind of, hey, fellas, let's do this. And then he got really excited when they got that, horrible snap by the center. Who are those twins that are centers? It was one of those guys that looked like one of his snaps went over Bortles' head. Yeah, my parents actually went to the game, and they said it was one of the most exciting games in a while. But, hey, it's been a while since there's been excitement.
Yes.
They've scored 42 points twice in the season for the first time in, 15 years.
It was definitely defense optional in that game.
Yeah, I mean, the defense has been playing all right. And then one thing that's a little bit funny is, everybody's like, well, Mike Mularkey could be the full-time coach. I'm like, just because a coach has won 2 games in a month, which I know is – something we haven't seen since the Mike Munchak area. There you go. That's a shout out.
Was that a prop? Oh my God!
The glorious Mike Munchak era where he could have gone 9-7. She gonna faint. That's because we had the leadership of Matt Hasselbeck, who's my age, playing quarterback in the NFL. Well, but it was a fun back and forth game,
he's won games for the Colts too, hadn't he?
And I was happy that I had Allen Robinson, but hey, somehow I had Allen Robinson and Jarius Allen, and I still lost because I started fucking Eli Manning. Eli's so bad. His only touchdown was a 3-yard pass to Odell Beckham, who ran 80 yards. That was it. That's all he did. And those freaking fantasy bastards are he's ranked 9th this week. Come on.
I have Cam Newton in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 fantasy football leagues. And in every instance that I drafted him, somebody has some smart ass comment. Is that a dragon's milk?
This is Vanilla Gorilla from Red Brick, Atlanta. Just wanted to show
Anyway,
you me pouring it into this glorious mug in slow
the
motion. We
mug
need
that
some funk
Zachy
music to play in the
me,
background.
me, 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 me.
It's pouring it slowly. See, I have
It is a
these.
nice mug.
I have these like tasting
I
glasses.
broke out the fancy
I
mug.
can't
Did you
fit
see
the
my
whole
fancy
bottle.
mug? I broke out
Fancy schmancy.
the earrings. I even have a necklace on. And my fancy Christmas pants, Christmas socks.
I'm pretty sure that's a Lifetime movie coming up this holiday. The Christmas Pants.
Hey, listen, Christmas pants are awesome. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be that crazy old lady who wears Christmas socks and Christmas pants to the Walmart year round. I'm okay with that.
I've worn pajamas to the grocery store. I haven't worn them to
I
work yet.
already wear a pajama top everywhere that I found at the Walmart in the pajama section.
Well, when you're an online typer of words, you can wear whatever you want, right?
I'm fancy.
Fancy. I
It's
don't know. I
pink.
added.
It's pink and it's soft and it's warm and I love it.
I did post. I put an article in our notes. I don't know if you actually saw it because I ditched you last night. But it was an article I found on your buddy Jessica Luther's Twitter feed. It's from Seattle Weekly by a woman on how women can fake
I saw
sports
that.
interest to land guys.
I saw that. Lindsay Adler tweeted it out and I retweeted it.
Just found this whole internet backlash.
I like
Twitter
Jessica Luther, by the
backlash.
way. You're right. She is my buddy.
You should be buddies. She's pretty cool, and following her probably because of you. I think. I hope so.
She was on my podcast. She's been on my podcast a couple of times.
Well, you should be on a first name basis. But this was an article posted in the Seattle Weekly, and actually, when I first read it, it was basically a just absolute takedown of the article because it was how to basically, if you want to find a man, you have to pretend to like sports, and if you don't like sports, pretend to like it, and then you can get drinks and guys and all that stuff. And if a guy doesn't like sports, he's a a vegan barista or something. In any case,
it was awful. Just trust me, it was awful.
There was way more written about people bashing it than the actual talking about the article. But sometimes, I don't know, this could be an over it or not kind of thing. Do you think it has the potential to go too far when people do end up bashing somebody to the point where it actually does them long-term kind of career harm and personal harm?
I think we have to be careful, and I think that we learned that. What was her name? The lady who tweeted out the AIDS tweet as she was hopping on a plane.
Yeah. Yeah, she said something bad about going to Africa and something about
but
AIDS.
it was out of context, and people didn't. Anyway, I think
tweeted it, got on a plane, which was like a 12-hour, and by the time she landed, she was fired from her job, and
it was awful. It was awful.
It had become this global phenomenon, and that does happen, where people just. It's usually the anonymous, people bash the first take guys on ESPN, but it doesn't. It actually helps their profile. People bash Donald Trump, doesn't hurt his profile, but kind of anonymous people, or even people who are in relatively small blogs or something like that, it really does cause damage to them.
Well, the guy who initially started the firestorm, I think it was Sam Biddle at Gawker, followed up with her about a year later and wrote a very good article talking about that. If you haven't read it, you should. It's very good. I do think that, yes, harm can come from that, to answer the question.
But at the same time, I think if people post kind of just over stereotypical kind of things that just perpetuate this whole quote unquote myth, that the girl's got to pretend to be interested in certain things to get the guy. And it's just hey, now I will admit, Allison did go to a Titans playoff game with me and she got bronchitis, but she's since pretty much ditched me one football season. She's found other interests, so it's okay. It can
That's
work
all
if
right.
you don't like
Whatever
it.
works, you know.
Exactly. So I bet you thought this wasn't coming up, but it is happening. It's
Uh-oh.
time for Over It or Not. Dun, 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 dun. Featured, sponsored by. Look at this beer. It's freaking. Just the color. It's just. Oh, it's awesome.
It's beautiful, but what makes it beautiful is my glass.
We do have friends come over tomorrow, so I have one guy who really likes stout, so I picked this up, and I picked up a couple other ones because I want to make sure.
Now, do you guys play cards with other customers?
Customers, yes.
You know what I mean.
They pay us.
Couples.
We're playing Cards Against Humanity tomorrow night, so watch
What's
out.
that?
You should look it up. It's pretty. It's very hard to explain. So anyway, try it out sometime, or get you down one of these times. So over it or not, here we go.
Okay.
Patriots losing streak.
Nah.
Let it go. Who are they playing this week? They're playing the Texans.
Flow,
Give me a break.
let it flow, let it flow. Let the wonderfulness flow over you.
I heard Mike. I think it's Mike Margosian, the MFL 10 guru guy who was on the show and helped us do our auction. He was actually saying that he thought that the Texans would be more of a challenge to the Patriots than the Titans. I'm like, oh, Brian Hoyer, really?
I don't think he's forgiven me for being unapologetically real about Tom Brady and his cheating ways.
Yeah, there's a bit of a cult ring to the Patriots fans. You can't say bad things about Brady or Belichick. They're going to come crashing down. It's going to be a very hard reality for them. Whenever the deal with Satan runs out that Brady and Belichick have, and then they're going to go back to being like everybody else, up and down. I think the Broncos are going to see that in the Osweiler era that's coming up. Anyway,
I'm going to be talking about the Broncos on my podcast tomorrow. By the way, my podcast is back.
you do a podcast?
I know you usually wait. I do a podcast, and it's pretty awesome, if I do say so. And so, yes, I'm going to. I already recorded my segment. No room for the beer bottles.
I like that. I hear a good sound over there. When the bottles are running into each other, you're doing a good work.
That's right. I'm doing work, baby. Doing work. So I already recorded my segment with Lisa London, who is Zach knows and has been on the show, and who is just awesome.
Darn too.
Excuse me. So I'm going to be talking to Jennifer Eakins about the Broncos. I'm very excited to do that. I don't know that. I think Brock Osweiler might just be Kubiak's kind of quarterback, really. So.
Well, he clearly can run the Kubiak offense because Kubiak definitely wanted that from center kind of sprint out type quarterback, and Peyton just couldn't do it. You could see there was a game this year where Peyton was doing horribly, and then they went back to the pistol, and he actually was okay.
Yeah.
But it was funny that this week there was I don't know who posted it. It was like Christian Ponder cut by the Broncos, and everybody on Twitter is like, Christian Ponder was on the Broncos? Wow, I had no idea. It's like
I had no idea
it's
either.
like the life of the third string quarterback. You're like, I didn't know that guy was on a team. Remember when he was drafted number 8? He was in that
horrible quarterback class.
2011 class that was basically Cam Newton and Kirk Cousins. Give me a break. Yeah. So over it or nah, head-to-head fantasy football.
Nah.
I was so sad, after losing to my dad, finishing 5-8, going to the loser playoffs, not defending my trophy, but I actually finished 5th in my league in scoring, and they did the little power rankings they send every week, the little auto-generated thing, and I was 6th out of 12. I'm like, I should be in the playoffs. It's all right. It's okay. I haven't calculated the tiebreakers like I always do in my sad personal way. So here we go. Now, over it or nah, Fitz magic against the Titans.
Nah.
Last year, Fitzpatrick.
The revenge game. Oh my God, 6 touchdowns. He whooped their ass, baby. Whooped
and
up
Brandon
on
Marshall and Eric Decker are just cleaning up, and it's like they have nobody else, so they get just peppered with targets.
Well, Pal had a good game on my bench.
Oh, yeah, my dynasty bench. I think I started him in desperation earlier this year, and he did absolutely nothing.
I was forced to start him in the Scotty Fish Bowl maybe a couple of weeks in a row, and it was bad.
Yeah, in the Scotty Fish Bowl, I had Cam Newton and Blake Bortles, so I had 10 touchdowns for my quarterbacks, and I still didn't advance. Although I'm always confused by the Scott Fish Bowl because the playoffs on there, they're like 27 layers to it. You have no idea.
I'm just setting my lineup.
Because in the Fish Bowl, basically you're playing against people, and it's whoever scores highest. It's not head-to-head in the playoffs. And I guess I didn't advance. So I'm playing for the division championship. But I am happy that in that league I did get Amendola back, and I'm getting Hearns back this week, and I'm getting Gronk back this week. So that might do something. So we did talk about this earlier, and there was a noise. I hope that's nothing broken in Kitty Land.
It was nothing. I just kind of flipped my phone a little bit. And it's not a flip phone.
So over it or not, watching every bowl game?
Over it. Well, I mean, how can you be over something that you've never done? But anyway.
Hey, now. Maybe we should rabble a game. We don't know any of the teams.
We should. Drinking tequila.
Oh, God. I'll tell you I'm drinking tequila. Just beer. I'll drink the high stuff. Let's see. People whining about 8 college football playoff teams being too many.
Over it.
Deep thoughts. And finally, over it or not, me canceling the show at the last minute last night when you were all gussied up.
Over it. I got gussied up. I took precious time out of my busy schedule to take a shower, roll my hair. Don't tell Zach, it only takes like 5 minutes.
I'm like, dude, I don't listen. What? It's not football. So I believe you proposed a segment where I talked about beer. So I can.
What's brewing with Zach? My proposal was a segment called What's Brewing with Zach, where he talks about his beer and has a topic on his mind that he wants to talk about.
Well, I guess technically I'd have 2 stories, so we'll see how that goes. So I actually wrote an article and posted it to my site, Zach, on sports, that involved me being invited to play disc golf at a place called Flyboy, which is outside of Atlanta. Now, this is my friend Jason Dominy, who's Mr. Beer Guy. He does beer bottle exchanges apparently every night, all the time. And he's introduced me to some of the finest IPAs in the world that I still don't really like. But he's still a cool guy, and he said, hey, let's go do disc golf. So I'm like, okay. I haven't actually thrown a Frisbee in like 5 years, but let's do it. So we go to this guy's house, and it's like west of Georgia. It's like west of the city. It's about an hour away. And it's basically like a private airport. And we just go walking in the woods, and it's like we're playing golf, but with Frisbees. And by the way, get disc golf, you have your different discs for different throws.
Okay, all right.
And I'm borrowing my friend's discs. You start off on like kind of a yoga mat because you're supposed to kind of run when you're teeing off. Of course, I didn't because I didn't trust my throws. And it was like going into the woods and just throwing discs. And these guys had like these backpacks, and they had like a little portable chairs, and they had like 15 different discs for every, wind type. And they were really serious, and I was really bad, and I actually got a little better as time went on. But there was a hole. It was 400 feet to the edge of the water, and then it was a 300-foot stretch of basically pond that you had to get across on a one throw. And I actually declined because I didn't want to throw my friend's disc into the water. But I did actually, by the way, by the end of the day, I had thrown 2 of his discs into the water. They went to a watery grave. I don't know if they check it out, but It's basically a guy who was an Air Force pilot, and he created this in his backyard, and it's like kind of like the Masters for disc golf. Like it's a place that people try to get to, and it's not open very often. And I happened to get there, and of course, the best part was after we played, we got to hang out, and Jason, Mr. Beer, brought a bunch of beers. His friend from South Carolina came and brought a bunch of beers from a brewery near us called Burnt Hickory. So I got to try like a Firestone Walker beer.
Ooh,
And my Westbrook Goza.
that sounds good.
We had that toaster pastry that I didn't really dig, but he had a sweet potato casserole beer that was really good, and you could actually taste marshmallow, which is a flavor I've never tasted for beer. And it was quite good. And then went home and I went, ow, my back. One thing I don't know if they've invented with disc golf is they need one of the, those things that people have are kind of short where they can grab stuff up high. I need that for picking up the discs because I've been over like 7,000 times. And at the end, we're both like, oh man, I can't disc golf when I'm 40 years old. Yeah, so that's my disc golf story. A slightly larger version is on my site. And I used an excuse last night. There's a brewery called Orpheus that's a local one. And they had an event because they were releasing their stout. It's called Ferryman. And I really should have brought one of the bottles because it's pretty cool art. But the brewery they like to do kind of like sour beers. So we got to do a tasting. We got a couple of bottles. And we had to go get pizza after to soak it all up. So that's a fun thing to do. Basically, wherever you live, you have a bunch of awesome breweries near you, and a bunch more are opening, and you should go see them and support them. And they're not as dumb as Georgia because the distributors and wholesalers own the legislature. You can't buy beer from a brewery. You have to buy, You have to do a tour. You have to pay for a tour, and you might get some beer to take home. But it's a lot of fun, and you get to try different beers.
That sounds like it would be the opposite of what they would want because...
Well, they just want them to buy them in stores, and they actually changed the law in Georgia because they were like allowing tours where you could taste beers, and then they changed it where you could do like these layered tiers where you could take beer home with you. And then like 2 months later, they said no, and they changed the law. After the breweries had hired extra people, and they had expanded their stores and expanded their hours, and they kind of cut them off. So I was glad that the place was able to do that. And there are, I think, 14 more breweries opening in the next year in Georgia. So it's a good time to be a beer fiend. And if you don't think you like beer,
have you ever tried brewing your own? Have you ever done your own home brewing?
I'm still held on the know about that. I mean, I know it's a lot easier than it used to be, but there's just so much good stuff I can buy. Why would I don't know. Maybe.
It's a lot of work.
I would need someone to come over and
like. It's cool just to go buy it and drink it instead of having to pick it up.
I would need a Mr. Miyagi of brewing to like show me the ropes. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't say it's like disc golf because I probably could buy like 2 discs and be set and not invest a lot in it, but you probably have to invest a little bit to do the brewing. So I'm not going to do that. I don't think. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So are you getting restacked up on your schedule? You get your, your own podcast going. You got your NFL female. How many nights a week do they do now?
Yes, although we have one or 2 more shows. Then we're going on hiatus for the holidays, but we'll be back after the first of the year. I am probably going to do 2 or 3 more podcasts this year and then take a break myself. And I'm kind of up in the air because while I am feeling much better, my father still has to have some treatment. So still kind of up in the air about what I'm going to be doing. But I think maybe 3 more podcasts this year. I want to try to get 3 more in, and then I'm going to go on hiatus and be back first of the year. But we should rabble.
You trying to tell me that we're going to go on hiatus? Don't
No,
tell me. Don't tell me we're taking a break. I've seen Friends. I know how this goes.
No, because I know you, Ross. I know how you do.
How do I do? I'm doing a podcast. I'm so off the radar now, and nobody wants to talk to me. It's a beautiful thing. I'm a free agent. I post when I want to. I write about disc golf and brewing and drinking, and that's a good thing.
They
It's
are
fun.
good things.
I mean, seriously, like in my local keeper league, I lost to my dad, so I'm in technically the loser playoffs. The winner of that gets the #1 pick, so I'm still alive. But it was kind of a relief because I didn't have to do waivers this week, and I have just been going after waivers every week. And it's cut off in my dynasty league. I played the #1 team in my dynasty league, and I lost by like 2.5 points.
Oh, those are heartbreakers.
And that kept me out of the playoffs. Like what's his name, Joseph, the defensive tackle for the Vikings.
Can you guys hear Libby snoring in the background? I'm just curious.
That's good. Somehow the drugs have worked, right?
Right.
Just drink your water, you'll be fine. It's all good. So for the crowd and for me,
Yes.
Explain this whole Rabble thing.
Okay. Rabble is a broadcasting alternative to the big networks. There are people who rabble sports. There are people who rabble TV shows. There are people who rabble whatever. I doubt that they rabble video game tournaments or anything like that, although I'm not sure.
You could do that.
So I have rabbled, which allows you can do whatever you want to with it, but for the people who do it sports-wise, generally speaking, it's kind of a play-by-play commentary kind of thing. And I have rabbled a few NFL games. It's kind of fun. I did it by myself, which is a lot of
Solo
work.
Rabble.
Yeah. So I would welcome the company.
Wow, so like an entire game. I'm just like, I'd have to go.
It is
The stud left tackle out of West Texas State.
We could just like do.
Yes,
We
3
could
cats and a dog.
We could combine a show and do and rabble a little bit of, but now it's all audio.
So you can't see my dance moves
Can't see
after
your
every
dance
play.
moves.
That's good because
I know everybody would be
I'd be like,
sad.
oh, good, no
including
dance
me.
moves. Sweet. Sign me up for that crap.
So
Yeah, I know.
I do
So
think we
that's
should
something.
rabble a bowl game.
Rabble a bowl game.
We should totally rabble the Outback Bowl because Sharona will be drinking, and it is her Tennessee Volunteers, and there could be some awesome sauce.
Yeah, you're playing a school with like academic standards and stuff, and they tried to start a union. That's a dirty word.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you'd be crushing them. We're like them unions. We're like them working rights. We like working in coal mines 12 hours, 7 days a week. It's awesome. At 7 years old. Oh, am I rambling? Is that rabbling?
Never.
See, I don't rabble shame like some people. I think you do what you got to do.
Hey, look, it's all good, baby. It's all good, isn't it?
It's all good. I suppose so.
What's up with you, Zach? You wrote two articles. Have you been podcast cheating on me?
No, I don't get into. I think I did that Rotoviz one, which I'm pretty sure that was like 2 months ago. So yeah, I've enjoyed my semi-retired status because
you're very busy at work. It seems
the fantasy football world seems to go on without me, which is okay. Although I did.
Is DFS going to survive?
I don't know. I was actually chatting with Jen about should I do DFS, and she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "No, I don't think so. I don't want to stress out about this like I have about my teams, and I know if I get in, I'm going to be in, and I don't. Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet either.
Even though it's like, well, I could probably do a free thing or something, but I don't know. It's odd because I saw like an ad on Twitter. It was like a player for the Giants who was doing this little promo for like the New Jersey lottery, and it's like all these states are trying to ban DFS, but they're like play the lottery and lose all your money. I mean, they have to be established in a way. Whatever DFS need to be lining some pockets of some legislatures. I think that'll
That's
get
the
them going.
thing. That's the thing.
Or
They thought
talk
that
to the casinos or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Or maybe they just got too big too fast because there's this automatic backlash just because they all do all these commercials. Although, what are
Well, a
commercials?
lot
I
of
don't
it
even
is
watch them.
posturing. A lot of it is posturing by politicians who I do think hope to get a kickback.
I mean, you don't get into government to do government. You do government to get cash money. I really think.
Was that a direct Dick Cheney quote?
You think. I think
George Bush. It
any
was
money anybody
president,
makes
right?
after they're in office, that all goes to the government. They don't get it. They can get their salary and that's it.
Anywho,
You should be serving. Yeah, I guess we're reaching that point, huh? Almost an hour. What happened?
time goes by fast when you're having
Did
fun.
you have fun in the club? And are you ever going to do a touchdown dance or what? It's not just a male thing. Let's not be the patriarchy. Come on.
I tell you what, if the Tennessee Volunteers win the
Oh,
Outback Bowl, I will dance live on camera. I'll even up the stakes. I will put on, because I'm fairly certain after dropping 50 pounds, I can wear it now. I will put on a club going outfit and do that thing.
needs to do that thing. I don't know what that thing is, but I feel like people want to find out.
They got to win first.
There'll be some kind of UT outfit. Is it all camo or is it actually the
I
orange
have
color?
never, ever, well, I do have an orange silk shirt that I wear braless to the club.
Do you? This is serious stuff. I had no idea. There are layers. There are layers to us all.
With white bell-bottom jeans
Yes.
and my
Never out of
orange
style.
satin stacks.
Aw, crap. She comes correct. Correct all the way. So tell everybody, since we're near the end, what's happening on your? Is it back talk? Are you still branded that way, or what do
I'm
you call
still
yourself?
brand back talk because I think that's perfect for me. I think I think I'm there. That's where I am. Back talk with Sharona is still a thing, and we will be semi-live because I'm recording my interviews because we're running into issues with Blog Talk, which I think I'm going to end up dumping fairly soon anyway. But I digress. So Friday morning, tomorrow morning, I intend to air live. If not, it will be assembled and posted so that you don't have to listen to Blog Talk's mess.
Oh, there's some mess involved.
It's awful. It's legitimately a terrible service.
I believe it's Audacity is one that podcasters have told me that you can use. Although I actually downloaded it and it's not compatible with Mac for some reason. But if I do a show, I just record on right here, and then
I think it's hard to
you can
beat
burn
Google
the audio,
Hangout
which
right
is what
now
you do.
because it's free and it's a very good service.
It's this Hangouts are straightforward, and you do get the occasional technical issues, and sometimes it's hard to get people on. And occasionally you get the weird echo, but for the
Occasionally.
most part, it gets you gets you where you want to go. It's like a dependable car. So yeah, disc golf and beer talk. If you want to go to Zach on Sports, and I actually posted my new avatar is actually a Rum for Johnny original, where he did like a little cartoon logo of me for my site. And that was like in 2012, in the infancy of Ask Your Fantasy Football Expert, because Johnny was like number 13. And I think I used his real name in the article, and I'm not sure if he was happy about that. But hey, it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So thanks everybody for being on. Thanks Sharona for getting all gussied up for me, and after I did shit last night. I mean, I tell you, what can I say?
I
She's the
know where
best.
I
She's the
rank.
best, and I'm
All right. I know where
not.
I rank.
So good night, everybody, and kiss my grits. And
Bye.